Chapter 16, Garbage In, Garbage Out.
One of the most important things in our homes is the dustbin. Yet we hardly ever think about it. We collect all the waste in our home and then give it to the cleaning person to throw away. Do you ever wonder where all this garbage is taken and what happens to it?
Introduction. We generate waste all the time, leftover from our food, wrappers and covers of things, empty bottles, broken toys and torn clothes are all thrown away.
Some things, like old newspapers, old gadgets, and things made of metals, are not thrown away.
They are sold to the junk dealers or the kabadi. They further sell these things to people who recover the useful metals and other things from the junk. The newspapers are used to make new papers. Plastics are also converted into new things made of plastic. This is called recycling of garbage. Let us learn what happens to the garbage once it is out of our homes. What happens to the garbage? Do you have any idea how much garbage your family generates in a day? You can estimate this with the following activity. So how is such a big amount of garbage managed? The people who collect garbage from homes dump it in the big local garbage disposing area. From there, the garbage is taken to a site called a landfill. To make a landfill, a huge open area is selected outside a town or a city. It is then dug up and a layer of clay and plastic is spread on its base. This layer prevents the harmful substances to leak into the ground below. The garbage is dumped into this pit. Then the garbage is segregated. The useful components are removed from the garbage by people. Rest of it is spread in a side of the pit and covered with a layer of soil. Every day the same process is repeated and the garbage is disposed in a new compartment called cell. The cells are compressed by bulldozers to create space for more cells in the landfill. Once the landfill is full, it is covered with a thick layer of soil and made into a park. For 20 to 25 years, no building is made over it. Gradually, the garbage decomposes and mixes with the soil. Differentiate between biodegradable and non-biodegradable garbage. You must have seen people working in a garbage dump. They carry big bags with them and pick up the useful material such as metal, glass and plastic from the garbage. These things can be converted again into useful material. Also, these things do not get decomposed by the microorganisms present in the soil. Such material is called non-biodegradable. On the other hand, things such as vegetable peels, paper and other are decomposed by the microorganisms and are called biodegradable. Non-biodegradable things remain in the soil for hundreds of years and are harmful for the ecosystem. These days, the government encourages people to segregate waste at home itself. For this purpose, there are two types of dustbins created. The biodegradable waste should be put in a green-colored dustbin and the non-biodegradable waste should be put in a blue-colored dustbin. We can see these dustbins kept on the roadside in towns and cities. The useful, non-biodegradable part of the garbage is sent to different factories where it is reused to make new things. The rest of the garbage is decomposed by the microorganisms in the soil. They gradually convert it into manure, which is very useful for the soil.
How is garbage useful? As we saw in the activity above, the biodegradable waste rots completely in some days and mixes with the soil. This is called composting. In forests, composting takes place naturally. Some farmers also do composting. The product obtained after composting of waste is called compost or manure and makes the soil fertile by supplying nutrients to it. This reduces the need to use artificial fertilizers. You must have heard of organic foods. These are grown only with the help of manures and without any use of fertilizers.
However, many times people find the composting very tedious and choose to burn the waste instead. You must have seen the cleaning employees burning dry leaves on the roadside. Some farmers also burn dry husk in their fields. This should not be done, as burning the leaves and husk releases some harmful gases that pollute the air.
Composting can also be done with the help of worms. Such type of composting is called vermicomposting. In a vermicompost pit, worms are fed with biodegradable waste and they convert it into manure within weeks. To make a vermicompost pit, a pit is dug into the ground and a layer of sand is put on its base. The sand is covered with dry leaves, weeds or stalks of plants. The pit is kept moist by sprinkling some water. The worms are added to it and they are fed on vegetable peels, dry leaves, crushed eggshells and weeds. They change the waste into manure within 3 to 4 weeks. This manure is excellent for growing up plants. However, animal products such as meat waste, milk waste and oil are not added to this pit, as that leads to growing of harmful microorganisms. How can the non-biodegradable waste be reduced? Plastics, glass and metal objects have too many uses in our lives. But when they are discarded, they get accumulated in the nature. These non-biodegradable wastes are very harmful for the environment. So, we have to make conscious efforts to reduce the non-biodegradable waste. We can do these by following the 3 R's. Reduce. We should try to reduce the use of plastics. Use fountain pens in place of disposal ballpoint pens. Do not use polythene bags. Use jute or cloth bags. Instead of paper napkins, use washable cloth napkins. Reuse. Find alternate use of discarded things. Use the empty cold drink bottles to carry water. At homes, empty jars and bottles can be used to store the dry foods and spices in the kitchen. The empty cans can be used as pots for small plants. Recycle. Metals, plastic and glass materials are picked from the garbage and then again reprocessed to make new things. This is called recycling. For example, old plastic bottles are recycled to make polythene bags.
Similarly, old papers are recycled to make recycled paper. However, paper and plastics cannot be recycled repeatedly. So it is very important to minimize their use. It is very important for us to follow the 3 R's even though it may become uncomfortable at times. Remember, our resources are finite, and if we do not act now, the earth will become a big garbage yard in the future.